Europe just replaced American gas flight, and the U.S. didn't see it coming. Europe is cutting the U.S. out of the global gas game. America's LNG dream is fading as Europe builds its own energy future. Every tanker America sends is funding Europe's independence. Europe's new gas deals are shaking Washington's confidence. Pipeline power is taking over tonnage. America can't compete on cost.
Welcome to Global Echo, where we bring you the real pulse of global power shifts and economic moves shaping the world. Today's news is a stunning twist in the global energy game. Europe has just replaced U.S. gas and, in the process, quietly cut America out of the global gas market. This wasn't supposed to happen, and Washington wasn't ready for it. Across Europe's biggest ports, the same picture once dominated: massive U.S. LNG tankers lined up, delivering liquefied natural gas that symbolized American energy dominance. The United States had become the world's top gas exporter in record time, believing Europe would remain its most loyal customer. But now that assumption has crumbled. Europe isn't waiting for tankers anymore. It's building pipelines. Thousands of miles of steel and concrete designed to make the continent permanently independent from overseas suppliers. What looked like America's biggest energy triumph has turned into a looming bust. Each U.S. tanker that arrives today in a European port is, ironically, funding the very infrastructure that will make it unnecessary tomorrow. Europe is quietly using America's money and gas to pay for its own escape plan. Why the sudden shift? Europe learned a painful lesson, that shipped gas means instability. Prices can spike overnight due to a storm, political tension, or even one delayed shipment. A pipeline, on the other hand, flows 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It's consistent, predictable, and under their control. For European factories, that stability isn't a luxury, it's survival. Pipeline gas also costs about 30% less than LNG once you factor in the chilling, shipping, and regasification costs. In industries like steel, chemicals, and manufacturing, that price gap determines who stays competitive and who collapses. Europe's leaders have made their choice: cheaper, more reliable, and politically controlled energy. But there's another layer here, something energy strategists call infrastructure lock-in. Once you build pipelines, you create relationships that last decades, 30 to 50 years. That kind of investment transforms trade routes and foreign policy. It's not just a business deal. It's a geopolitical marriage. Meanwhile, in Asia, another transformation is unfolding. China, India, and their regional allies are locking down long-term gas supply deals with Qatar and Australia, not for 5 years, but for 20 or even 30. These nations aren't waiting for tankers. They're securing energy for the next generation. Qatar, one of the smallest yet most powerful gas producers, is spearheading this transformation. By teaming up with other producers, it's forming what some experts are calling a gas OPEC, a coordinated network that can control supply and pricing globally. And unlike America's fragmented, profit-driven LNG market, Qatar's state-backed energy strategy is long-term and unified. This emerging alliance, combined with Russia's dominance in pipeline deals, is squeezing the U.S. out of the global gas game. The U.S. bet everything on flexibility and open markets. But the world is now rewarding stability and long-term partnerships instead. Just a few years ago, the U.S. believed it held an energy weapon, the ability to influence allies or punish rivals by controlling LNG exports. That power has vanished. Europe's pipelines and Asia's long-term deals have made sure of it. If Washington ever tried to restrict exports, nations would simply turn to Qatar or Russia. And that's the core of this seismic shift. America's greatest energy tool has lost its edge. The power that once came from flexibility has now turned into a weakness. Every LNG shipment redirected for profit sends a message to allies. The U.S. isn't a reliable partner. It's a trader chasing the best bid. That lack of trust has consequences. Nations want security, not short-term deals. They're choosing partners who deliver consistency, even during crises. While U.S. companies compete against each other for profit, state-backed giants like Qatar and Russia play the long game, shaping energy policy for decades. Take the Turk Stream pipeline, for example. Despite sanctions, it's thriving. Europe can't afford to shut it down. It powers homes, factories, and entire economies. Once steel is buried underground, politics can't easily dig it up. Infrastructure becomes political power. Silent, strong, and unshakable. And that's where Europe has outplayed the US. Instead of waiting for tankers, it's building relationships, physical ones, made of metal and time. The result? America's LNG boom is heading straight into oversupply. Export terminals built on optimistic projections may soon stand half empty. The ripple effects are massive. Billion-dollar shipping companies face fewer routes. Ports that expanded for LNG are underused. And local U.S. economies that banked on export growth might soon be left holding the bill. Meanwhile, Europe, with cheaper and more stable energy, will regain a competitive edge in global manufacturing. We're watching the rise of a new energy order, one that values permanence over profit, alliances over auctions. The global gas market isn't one big system anymore. It's splitting into regions: pipeline Europe, contract-bound Asia, and a flexible but uncertain America. The rules of the energy game have changed, quietly but completely. And this time, the United States wasn't ready.